Oh my
Your
goodness.
audio's a little muffled. It's a little muffled. All right, we're gonna be live on YouTube in like a minute, like a two,
My thing say
something.
live YouTube.
Wait,
All
well, I don't
right,
have a picture.
we are live on the YouTube. We are live on the YouTubes. We are live on
Shay
Zoom.
Shay, what's up?
All right, Shaniqua. Start us off. Cass, where's your, you better put your video on.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Hold on.
This man killing
Ghetto. Ghetto. And you always want to be ghetto when we have company. You don't want to be when it's just us on you never you want to be a
Wait,
student on time.
hold
me.
up. I'm just
Talk
trying
your
to put
mess.
a. Hold up. Who's next? Mm.
I don't want to put no video up either.
We meet here every time, the same time every week, the same time, every week, every week.
Who's
Let
next?
them know.
It's been 7 weeks. That's almost two
7?
months. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Every
Oh,
week.
that's lit.
Every week. Thank you. All right, Shaniqua, start us off. Yay.
Hey guys, I'm Shaniqua.
Hi, Shaniqua.
Ashaniqua.
Hi,
Oh,
hi,
I think
Shaniqua.
we're all introducing ourselves.
Hey, everybody. So this is free game episode, our seventh episode. This is our family meeting. I'm Rishi. We're going to kick it off with Shaniqua, fellow co-host, and then we'll turn it to our usual suspects, and then we'll have our guests introduce themselves. Go, Qua.
Yeah,
Take it away.
so as you guys know, George Floyd, a civilian, passed away on Monday due to an alleged forged check. I heard the check wasn't actually forged, and a police, he kneeled on his neck, and actually it was multiple policemen. It was three other policemen, so in total it's four that were kneeling on his neck, and he eventually passed away at 9 minutes, not 9 o'clock, in 9 minutes from that, and it left an outrage within the countries and many cities with people rioting, and we just wanted to talk about that, like what you guys feel, it'd be something short. What you guys think?
Someone's doing something in the background that's weird.
All right.
Cass.
Y'all can say something quick. It don't have to be nothing like long.
Um,
Well, I just felt
it's
like
so much. Honestly, it's so much that could be said.
How did it affect you guys, or
it could have been handled differently, like from the point where he was saying like he can breathe, or you feel me? I feel like they should have at least get him off the floor or put him in a car, because he actually wasn't doing like any resisting and stuff like that. So there was no point to just, kept him on the floor, and then while the guy had his knees on top of Meg and stuff like that. So I just felt like that was not professional. Like, you feel me? Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's messed up. So
It's heartbreaking to see, like, it's just heartbreaking. Because it really, like, you look at it and you think, like, it could have been anybody that you know, could have been anybody that's close to you. It's not fair. It's not right. It's unjust. It's just that at the end of the day, that's a human being. And just because of the color of your skin, you got to be treated, worse than an animal. It's not right.
Okay, cool. Max, what do you think?
I don't know, like my personal opinion of it. I don't really like usually give my 2 cents on it, cause like I kind of like at this day and age, I feel like I grew up in it. Like this shit always been like that in a way, and like, I kind of got desensitized to it.
Mm,
So I done seen it so much, like it's been happening like for decades. So I mean, so like I don't know. At this point, I done seen the protests and all that. I done seen the riots and everything. So it's like I don't know. I just feel like that's just it sucks, but like at this point, I feel like that's just the way of life. Like that's how it's always been for so long. No matter how hard people fight for it, it's like that's just how it's been. So it's like with some people, you just get desensitized to it. Like you don't really. It's just like always like growing up seeing your homeboys dying and stuff like that. Like at some point, you just like you stop crying because you see it so much. You just try to find a way to avoid it or like just deal with it or cope with it.
mm. You're used to it. You're used to
Yeah.
it. So like, yeah. I
Like,
don't
I
know.
remember being 7 years old dealing with police. Like at 7, I always remember the first time I ever had to deal with police, and like it just was always a reoccurring thing for me growing up.
That's young. That's really young. That's crazy.
Yeah, 7, you gotta like in elementary school, you gotta learn how to deal with police, and that's
Yeah.
like, and as a kid too, like you supposed to trust the police, but I can't remember ever. And I got police in my family, so it's not. I understand it's good cops, bad cops, but it's like even with people in my family, it's weird to me. Like I just don't trust police,
Okay.
like ever. Like I don't know. Like just this is how I grew up.
Okay. You got different.
So I got a question for everybody. How, since Max brought up growing up and like your first encounters with like law enforcement growing up, like what did your parents teach you? If they did teach you anything or say anything to you, or what wisdom did they bestow upon you about like involving the police when you see them, how you act around them, and like what age was that when you guys had that talk, if you had that talk?
Well, what my mama taught me was whenever like you get like a police stops you or anything, like just do whatever they says. Like don't even like you feel me say anything. Just let them do whatever they feel like. Cause as a black man, you're already a target already. So it's like anything you do, they could use that against you just to you feel me. So my mama like just told me like whatever they say, just do it. It don't matter if it's not right. Like cause right now they're in charge. You feel me. So
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Like I guess everyone's different.
That was the same thing too. Though my old girl and my old boy was the same way. They're just like, don't give no resistance to them. Like, don't sit there and talk back to them too much, because now you giving them a reason. Even if you're not like you clean as possible, like just talking back to them, they gonna find something.
Yeah.
So like, anytime I ever had to deal with police, it was always yes sir, no sir, because I'm trying to get them out my face as quick as possible.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I had a totally different encounter. I think I had one when I was really young. I had a really good encounter with a police officer. I was in like Miami, when 163rd used to have Miami subs. And I was in there with my mom, and the police officer was like, wow, she has really good manners for her age. And she was just like, she talks so eloquently. And I think he gave me like $1 or something to buy a cookie. You know, back then you could buy things with $1. So he gave me $1 to buy a cookie or whatever. And then my mom was like, oh yeah. She was like, oh, that was nice. You see, da. But my mom was the same person who told me, don't talk to police officers. If they question you, ask you anything, don't speak to them. You don't have, it's in your rights not to say anything. If they harass you, you don't have to say anything. You call me. If you can't get in touch with me, call your brother. Don't say anything to them. If they try to arrest you, tell them that you know your rights. Like my mom was not like, she wasn't on compliance. She was just like, we don't acknowledge them. We don't acknowledge their presence. If you're getting arrested, just don't resist arrest, obviously, but you're not saying nothing to them. And I've been in situations with police officers, and I've never acted in a way where it was conducive to me not getting arrested. I should say, because I was just like, I know my rights. You can't do nothing. You can do something to me. Like now, you can be well in your rights and still have that fear. But before, it's just like, what's the worst you gonna do to me? And then me police, you gonna slam me on the ground, you gonna arrest me, you gonna detain me. That's it. Now it's like, I feel like it's like, even if you know your rights, you're a upstanding citizen, you go to work, you go to school, you do what you gotta do. It don't fucking matter. The law don't apply at all.
Don't.
Okay.
Ray, how were your encounters when you were younger with police officers?
When I come across police officers,
Like when you were
is that what
younger,
you're asking?
yeah, like what was your first encounter, or what did your parents talk to you about when you're dealing with law enforcement? Because you're different than everyone else on the panel. You are pursuing a career in law enforcement to some degree, even though you're not. You know
Right.
what I'm
I'm
saying?
pursuing a career in law enforcement. I've worked with law enforcement.
Oh no, it's the
Honestly, my parents always told me, like, you know, give them
Wait, Ray, you
respect
breaking
them,
up.
you know. They always told me that, you know, at the end of the day. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can y'all hear her? Clear?
Can y'all
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear one.
Okay. So what was the last thing y'all heard?
That your parents always told you.
Okay, yeah. My parents always told me, like, at the end of the day, you're black, so, you know, you want to be extra cautious, you know, don't get disrespectful, don't get slick, just answer whatever questions they ask you, you know, just at the end of the day, try to go through the encounter as quickly as possible, you know. Don't try to be extra, and, you know, but then they also, like, know your rights. Know your rights, learn your rights, understand the process, understand the system. And that's really how they instilled me.
Hmm. My mom, she was taught me to
So
like
what
avoid them. Like just avoid it. Try to avoid that.
Yeah, don't go seeking, you
did
know,
you say, Shaniqua?
My mom, she just taught me to avoid it. Like just avoid them as much
avoid
as
them. No, but like if they stop you, you can't really avoid them, you know. You just gotta
yeah.
go with the flow. I always like call somebody if I get stopped. Now, especially now. And that's about it.
What made you what made you decide that you wanted to pursue a career in law, Ray?
Honestly, because of situations like this, you know, like you gotta be able to not just change from outside, but be able to infiltrate the system and change from within. You know, like
True.
especially with everything going on, like yeah, we can talk and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's actions that's gonna lead us to a better world and a better experience. It may not change, you know, it may not make a big difference, but any difference is better than nothing.
What's happening now? That's true.
Any difference is better than nothing.
I
But
kind
yeah,
of like that. Though. I like that our generation getting into that though,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of my homeboys they going into the police force and stuff like that, and it's like you can kind of see it shifting, the generation shifting. So it's like I feel like if we
Mm-hmm.
getting at least our people like that in the community, it's helping that
Mhm.
community more. Cause like now they
Right.
came from that. You feel me? So like now they
Mm-hmm.
more protected. Like now they really living up
Yeah,
to what that little that
that's
Right.
mission whatever it is.
that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
Yeah, that's so true. Whew.
So it's like that's one of the bright spots of all this happening. Like it's that call to action now. Now a lot of people being motivated to get into it more.
Right. It's
Understand they got
really like
things.
we gotta change. We gotta change the system. We need more black lawyers and more black prosecutors and more black officers and just get our people in there, you know.
Exactly.
That's true. That's very, very, very true.
What do you guys think about the riot or the one riot that occurred at Target in Minneapolis?
Well, one one thing one thing
That's not funny.
like I know like you're not supposed to like fight hate with hate.
Mm.
I don't mind them doing it. Like I don't have no problem with them doing it. I feel like right now it's actually getting somewhere. Like people finally like they finally, you feel me, having a voice. Like you feel me? Because it's not a good thing they doing that, but it's like at this point they have no choice but to do it. It's
Mm.
like even though you someone like okay, you cannot fight hate with hate, like you feel me, and stuff like that. You know, you usually go the other way around. You feel me? But I have no problem with it. Like at this point, like they could do whatever they want. Like
So you talking about like Target per se? Like
yeah,
I
like
don't
oh
okay, the rioting is one thing. Now the stealing and stuff, like cause okay, you know, yeah, we've been brought up on, you know, fight with peace and, you know, talk it out and obviously that hasn't been doing nothing. Okay, so we're going with force. Cool. But now the whole stealing aspect, like then it kind of makes it look like, okay, are you doing it for, you know, are you doing it to bring attention or are you doing it to steal?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only thing, my only take with that. But I'm not big on the whole violence thing, but we got to do what we got to do to bring some attention and to get things done. And
yeah.
you got to speak the language of the opposing side. So if they speaking with violence, then that might be the language
Yeah,
you need to start speaking
that's
to.
very true.
Okay.
I agree with that, but I feel like still in a way I think we playing into their hand.
Hmm.
I feel like we play into the system's hand because like one thing I learned growing up, because I was always that type of person too growing up. Like if you do something to me, I'm doing it right back.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's the main thing I get out of this whole police brutality. I always said like, and it's, to be honest, is like I'm glad I never got put in that situation. I thank God I've never been put in that situation because I wouldn't fathom like how to sit there and get no justice from the system because I already don't even trust the damn system. So it's like
Hmm.
automatically I'm like, nah, fuck it, we gonna take care of this the way we take care of shit. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, but growing up more into it, like especially like when I went off to school and stuff in college, like I feel like if you play into it more, now you like if you do it or if you retaliate, now you playing into what they want you to look like. They want
You
you
on
to
the
be that
same level
person.
as them? Hmm.
Yeah, like now whatever they trying to portray you as, you played into it. So like
Hmm.
now, and it's looking like that on social media with the riots. Like it's all like on social media, it's all fun and games and everything, making memes out of the whole thing. But it's like when you really look at it, like when Trump came out and said these thugs and all this extra stuff, it's like, I mean, you can't sit there and say nah when it's video of y'all doing thug stuff.
But it's
And it's
a lot of the riots wasn't started by like black people. Like there's videos going around of, you know, undercover cops starting
yeah,
it to make
you're
it
right.
make it look as if black people are the ones, you know, just initiating everything.
Yeah, you're right. That's for sure. That's true, and that's a part of them playing it. That's part of them trying to get that
Right.
portrayal out too. And people play, and
Mhm.
some people are actually playing into it. So
Mhm.
it's
Mac
like,
have to, whether you consider it playing into it or not, we have to do something. And if that's gonna help get a message across, in my opinion, then why not? They're
I
gonna
mean,
look
it's gonna
at
get the
Yeah, I
message,
just feel like
it
as Black,
regardless. It doesn't matter. Like they're gonna look at like us like thugs regardless. It doesn't matter.
right? You're right. I understand. I trust me. I agree with it. I agree with you too. Cause shit, if that's where they want to go to, that's where we're gonna go to. But I think for ourselves though, I look at it more for ourselves, like bettering yourself. Like how I said earlier, like I'm happy that now our generation, like a lot of kids our age, is going into law enforcement and everything like that, because they trying to change within that system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's taking that self pride within yourself, saying, okay, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna be that change. You feel me? But what change are we really getting from tearing this shit up?
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not against it because like, I understand the anger. Of course, there's a lot of emotion there, and
mm-hmm.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I feel like we gotta go into ourselves and say, okay, this is what they doing. And sometimes like it's not even fighting peace or like fighting violence with peace. It's more so it's like, okay, let me better myself, because like I can't change nothing unless I'm changing myself or bettering myself.
That's why I
Like
said
this
we need,
going,
most of the black lawyers. We need,
yeah.
black
I want
prosecutors. We need them on the front line.
and I want the focus to be more on that. How about we better ourselves to fight with them now? If we ain't bettering ourselves,
Mhm.
we just gonna have to keep going down to their level.
Right.
Elevate
Right.
over these,
I
elevate over them, and at some
agree.
point you're gonna take over all of that.
Mhm.
They can't do shit
Yeah,
if you
but
sitting in the
that
office
okay.
right next to them.
A phase-in process takes 50 years. We are only a couple decades removed from the civil rights movement as to why we still have all these growing pains in America, why we still have all these issues as Black people fighting for rights that were supposedly given by being citizens here in America. We are only a couple of decades removed. There are people who are still living who actively were alive and participants during Jim Crow era and Jim Crow law. So to me, it's like, I feel like Black people, we are too kind. We are way too kind and forgiving. White people were burning down churches. They were putting crosses on lawns. They were firebombing schools. And when people and activists like Angela Davis and Huey Newton and the Black Panther movement started to do the same thing, because at first we tried to replicate what was happening in the 20s, right? But we try to do it in a military state. So we were trying to do like how in the 20s we had our own segregated areas with just ourselves. We started to school our own children. We started to grow our own fruits and vegetables. We took up arms for ourselves, and they didn't like that we had our own compounds and stuff like that. But the only reason why they were able to have it for a short period of time is because we were militarized, because of the Black Panther movement. Now, when we do riots and stuff like that, and things like this happen, and the looting happens, and all these things happen, I'm only saddened that it happens in the communities as where the problem happens. We're not bringing it to their front door. Luckily, they brought it to a precinct, but if the precinct is in the area which you live in, your taxpayer dollars are going to pay to rebuild that precinct.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm not advising anybody to commit a violent act against someone's family member who have nothing to do with it. If those officers have wife, kids, uncles, aunts, cousins, family, friends, whatever, they weren't there. They don't deserve to have to pay recompense for what they did. But if we are looking in the past, everyone was killed. They didn't spare nobody. They didn't spare kids. They didn't spare nobody. They would run into compounds, shoot everyone, take everything, take guns, take money, take everything, and leave everyone disenfranchised after Black people weren't doing anything. So I just wish it was happening in their neighborhoods. That's it. Riot in the other people's neighborhoods. Don't riot in our neighborhoods. If this is where he lives, riot on his block. Ruin his experience. He can't go to the grocery store this week. None of them can. When you look at it, look at your neighbor who did this to you. It was his fault. Your schools burned down, your precincts burned down, your churches burned down. That's his fault. Look at your neighbor who did this to you.
I ain't mad at that either.
Two people are raising their hand.
Hold on. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey,
You should be
hello, Mariah.
on.
Hey. I think really what's going on is like at this point, because we've had riots like before, like in between, like from when Trayvon Martin got killed up until now. We've had riots and stuff before, but I think like kind of piggybacking off of like what Barkeisha is saying, I think it's more so the fact that we don't have any organization. So like the fact that you're saying like we're not that, well, the riots aren't happening like where they should be occurring, and like Black businesses are also being affected and things of that nature. I think it's because it's not organized. Like people are just getting upset and then they're lashing out, rightfully so, because people are hurting. You know what I mean? So it makes sense why everything is happening, but I think that there's no like thought behind it. People are just like, we're gonna riot, we're gonna get angry, we're gonna rob Target, we're gonna tear their shit up, and we're gonna get their attention, which I do feel like, you know, unfortunately needs to happen. But it would be more beneficial to us as a people if it were more targeted, because that's what, like what you were saying, like that is what the KKK was doing. They were targeting us directly. They weren't doing it to, you know what I mean, their to their families or to their friends or to their businesses. They were targeting us. But now, since, you know, things have changed as far as like the fact that there is not segregation anymore, like everybody is commingling and things like that, I think Black people are just not thinking about it in that way. And then going back to like the people that we need to have on the front line and the Black lawyers and so on and so forth, I don't think it's that we're not bettering ourselves, because that's why we have like if you really look at it, like right now Black people are doing pretty great for themselves when it comes to like being in good professions and like having real careers and being involved in politics, women as well. So I think more so what it goes back to, like how Shaniqua was saying, it doesn't matter what we do as far as like portrayal and stuff, which I feel like Max has a good point. We do have to better ourselves. Like we don't want to like fight fire with fire, but right now it's kind of like fight or flight. Like they literally killed that man in cold blood. It was videotaped, and it took for us to have the riots in order for one of them to even be arrested and then be charged with 3rd-degree murder and manslaughter. And then in Georgia, they literally lynched that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like it didn't even look like that shit happened in 2020. That looked like some shit that happened back in the fucking 50s when you look at that video. And it took them 2 months for them to arrest them crackers. Excuse me. But it took them 2 months for them to arrest them. And they weren't even police officers. They were ex-police officers. So I really just think like, I don't see anything wrong with the looting. I don't see well, I don't want to say I don't see anything wrong, but I feel like we have to do that at this point, because it's just like when we did all the hashtags, it didn't fucking matter. When we, you know what I mean? When we went the peaceful route, none of it mattered. None of it mattered. It mattered for a little while, and then it all goes back to the same thing. So I feel like now at this point, and honestly, I feel like the riots are going to stop. And at some point, this is probably going to be swept under the rug, at least for a little while, because it's happened several times. Like if you look from like, because Trayvon Martin kind of sparked all this back, because that's when social media was popping and people could see it instantaneously, like, wow, this is really happening. You know what I mean? Because people are picking up their phones and recording it. But I feel like from then until now, you've seen where it's like, all right, we're fighting for our rights again. All right, we good. We're fighting for our rights again. All right, we good. Like if we were more organized, like how the Black Panthers were, and so like if we were more of a militia, I feel like more work could be done. But we don't really have people who are willing to put their livelihood on the line, put their lives on the line. People like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are willing to die, you know what I mean, just for the sake of their fellow man. So I feel like if we had more organization, things like what we're doing, well, things like what's happening now in Minneapolis as far as the riots and so on and so forth, it'd be more effective because we have an actual like strategy and a game plan versus us just like, okay, let's pick a store and let's fuck it up. You know, we didn't know that this store was owned by like, you know what I mean? Because I was told that, or from what I've seen and what I've heard, a lot of Black businesses got affected too, which, you know, it's like it is what it is. But if we had that organization, I feel like what we're doing right now, like actually like fighting back would be way, way, way more beneficial, and we like get the message across because it's doing something. That's why Trump made that tweet. It was, you know, terrible. You know what I mean? But obviously you're paying attention now. You know what I mean? So it's bittersweet, I guess.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. I don't know who makes them do that.
That's that.
How do
Let people will put their life on the line.
Oh, I did something weird. I did something different. I don't know what I did. I changed something. I did something. I did something. Hold on, we have someone else who would like to speak. Where did I put it? Shaniqua, do you see any more hands raised?
Yeah, Christina.
I can't find it anymore. Christina, if you can raise your hand again, please, so I can, because I don't know where it went. Goodness gracious. Shaniqua, just keep the topic going forward. I'm gonna see what. Right.
Okay, guys. I also want to talk, I know this is a very serious subject, but I want to talk about Rolling Jennifer, the woman that's not disabled, but she was in a wheelchair rolling around. I don't know if you guys seen that. That was stabbing people, and then they maced her and sprayed her. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, the one that was faking.
Do you feel like she deserved
Yeah.
I know what that was.
Does she deserve what?
like being maced and sprayed?
She was rolling around stabbing people.
Sure.
She was in a chair. I don't know if she's really disabled. There's a video of her walking around, so I don't know.
No, she's not disabled.
Yeah, I seen her walking around.
She was
I don't
only
know.
stabbing the Black looters. She let all of the white people go, and she waited for Black people to come through.
She stood in front of the door and she was trying to block people from going out.
Oh, you gotta ran the fuck over.
It was
my
great.
I would have ran her green ass.
They literally like put that shit all in her face, and then they caught her later on in the day. Not day, night actually. It was in the nighttime, and then they had went to her, and there was just like it was other like protesters or probably random people in the street. They're asking me like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need help?" And this actor, she was like, "I was peacefully protesting. I can't see. Leave me in the road." Telling them to leave her in the middle of the road. It was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. Stabbing people. Ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever she got.
All right, hold on. She did deserve it. Okay. She's raising her hand. I'm gonna. Hello. She should.
Hey.
Hey, Christina.
Hi. I just wanted to just share how I feel about this whole situation. The whole thing is just it's not scary, but it's very uncomfortable for a lot of colored people, black people. Um, it's I don't ever think any white person knows the feeling of, being stopped and having your heart race beat so hard, not knowing what the police can do, what they're capable of doing. I've seen watching videos of them, assaulting women, physically assaulting women, beating them, you know, throwing them down, pushing them down a balcony. Like, stuff is just very, very scary and very uncomfortable. And I spoke with a police officer today at my job, and I was asking her, I was telling her, I was like, hey, you guys have to, like, start hiring more black, like you guys mentioned before. And she told me that, they're not gonna hire, if they hire black people, they will hire the ones who are not really outspoken. She told me that. Sorry?
I said,
Yeah. She told me that if they do hire, black, police officers, that they will get the ones that don't really know much English, or know that are not Americanized. There you go. They are not Americanized. Where, Americanized people, they're more outspoken. They will tell you how they feel and everything like that.
yeah.
So it was very, very, as I'm taking customers, this is like, I was not really in a mood. I felt so uncomfortable. Like, it's just,
Yeah, of course.
I have, like I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, I have brothers, I have a brother, I have male cousins. Like, I don't want to have to see them go through that stuff. I have a niece, I have girl cousins. I don't want to have to see, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. We shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable, or teach our little children, or, teach little kids in general that this is what police are doing. They're not protecting us. You know what I'm saying? So it's very hard. It's very hard, and it's very uncomfortable. I also saw this video of this pastor. He had a 4-year-old son, and his 4-year-old son was scratching his skin, and he kept asking his son, "Why are you scratching your skin? You're hurting yourself." And his son said, "But Dad, I just want to remove the brown off my skin." And that right there is that's just too much. Like, how are we supposed to explain this to our babies? Like, how are we supposed to explain this to them? How are we supposed to do this? We're not supposed to be afraid of the police officer. They're supposed to be protecting and serving us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I just can't. I really can't. It makes me so uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And it's just, it's not gonna. I feel like it's not gonna get better if we don't get the results. Like the other person just mentioned, like they gave him 3rd-degree murder. Like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, everything is on camera. Like, what evidence do you need? Like, what more evidence do you need? You know what I'm saying? Why investigate? Everything is on camera. Everything is on camera. You can't tell me that you had this guy's hands behind his back and he's on his belly, and what's the worst he can do is get up and run? Like, come on. In order for him to get up, he has to use his hands. His hands are behind his back. Like, come on. The autopsy shows that he had a medical condition. Like, no, this is all BS. You know what I'm saying? It's all BS. And it makes us angry, like very, very angry, very angry. And if we don't get what we want, it's like this is going to continue to happen. We are going to be so outraged. It's too much. It's too much. That's all I have to say. It's just too much.
Thank you, Christina. I think
Thank you.
I think the sentiments across everybody is that it's like everyone's like, what if you've never been a personal victim of police brutality, or you've never been stopped by the cops aggressively and stuff like that, it's always always the what if. And I think the what if scares people more than people who have gone through it. Like Max was saying, like if you grew up a certain way or you've grown up around certain things, you know, like this is how the police are, like you're either gonna rebel against it or you just gonna play your cards how you feel is best in the situation just so you can get back home. And I mean, it's tough. It's tough because a lot of situations, even when they're doing the right thing, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're saying everything you're supposed to be saying. Police officers know that they're protected by union. They know that cops investigate cops. Feds
Right?
investigate
They were
feds.
saying-
Like it's not something.
I was shocked.
Well, you're breaking up.
No, Mariah,
Say
she
it
told me
again?
that they were standing in front of his house, the officers.
Yeah, they
The-
were standing
the
in front of his house.
officers.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was they put his address. They put his address online. And so once they put his address online, they knew what was to happen. So 75 white officers were in front of his house.
That's probably how they were able to set the police station on fire, honestly, because y'all weren't what the fuck y'all was supposed to be. So
Yeah, but they knew not to do that. They knew not to be in the precinct. When that happened, when anytime a riot's happening, they never have people unless they're like desk pushers. Even that, they don't have nobody in the precinct, just in like precautionary. Like they're all usually either SWAT. They have even like regular patrol cops in SWAT with rubber bullets out on the streets, like during Ferguson. They already know. And the climate that Minneapolis was in, they already knew what time it was. Everybody's home. That's another thing. Everyone is home.
organization. They organized as a motherfucker. That's the thing. That's how they was able to protect him for him to even reach jail.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not the prosecutors. Of course, okay. Depending on who, because I think it was supposed to go towards the attorney general. Depending, they all know. So the judge who's going to oversee it knows. The lawyers know. The prosecutor knows, of course. The police officer already knows because the people in his precinct already tell them. So they set up a time when he's going to turn himself in, and they escort him, obviously, because the state is in a state of emergency. So everyone knows, like the videos that we saw, they probably already saw the lawyers, even though they were like, oh, this is our first time watching it on CNN. That's not their first time watching it on CNN.
Yeah, but he had a lot of, when they looked him up, he had a lot of situations, something similar to this, like in 2005. This is not the first time.
Like 5.
Yeah, this is not the first
it's
time.
more than 5. He has
more, yeah.
16.
The only reason why is, why he's at his situation right now is because it's being video recorded. Back then, there was no social media.
What about them saying that he knew him prior to the whole arrest?
They worked at the same.
They said that he used to work at a club together, something
they
like
both
that.
used to do security at some club.
I saw something like that. But part of me feels like some of the white supremacists literally become police officers so they can actually target the Black people. Sometimes I feel like that's what they do. They purposely become police officers on purpose because they know that if they become police officers, it's just like a slap on the wrist, to be honest with you.
What do you guys feel about the reporter being arrested? Do you guys feel like it was fake?
What you mean? Like he was fake arrested?
Mm-hmm. Some people feel like it was fake on social media.
No, I don't think it was fake.
That it was a stage to get.
I don't think it was fake. I just feel like they gonna let him off easy and stuff like that.
But even if they let him off easy, he has like so much people that's gonna be coming after him, so he has to get ready for that.
No, we're talking about the reporter being arrested arrested
Ah.
Omar Jimenez. He's a CNN reporter that was arrested last night around like 1 a.m. 2. It was early in the morning. It was early in the morning, late evening, depending on how you want to consider it. But Omar Jimenez, he's a CNN reporter. He was arrested while his white counterpart, also CNN reporter, but I think from a different region, the cops spoke with him on air, I think on or off air, and he was cleared to still be on the street, though they were moving everyone out of it. What happened was they were telling everyone to leave, but obviously the right is to freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of press. You can stay there as long as you're a network. But because whatever reason, they felt like Mr. Jimenez should not have been there, and they arrested him and his crew.
That jump was crazy. Live TV, like, wow.
But why
It
would
was
they think it was
disruptive.
fake though?
I don't know. Some people feel like it was staged, like it was a setup. I don't know.
That ain't staged. That's just frustration. That's what they do when they get frustrated.
So what was fake? I'm lost.
I feel like they know who he was, and you know.
They're saying that the police arresting the reporter, like meaning like the reporter and CNN, they knew that the police were going to do that. Like it's all fake. That's what some people felt like.
So what CNN get out of it though? I don't get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, people feel
more
like
press.
I guess to make it scare off people, to let them know like, hey, this is real serious. I think that's what they probably like. If it is fake, they probably was doing, but it didn't seem staged to me. That was crazy.
That don't sound like a fake type of thing. It sounds like a frustration
Yeah, that don't
thing. That's what
sound.
police
Yeah,
do. Like when
don't
police trying
sound
to
fake.
disperse, like whenever they try to disperse stuff, if your ass ain't moving fast enough, they quick to arrest you for some weird reason.
To make an
So it's
example
like,
out of you. Yeah.
yeah, they always looking for an example. So it's like, even if you're not even a part of the crowd or nothing, if you just not moving fast enough, they start getting antsy with you.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Definitely.
Yep.
It was just crazy because it was live on air, and he was reporting back to CNN when it happened. It wasn't like he was in between breaks. He was actually reporting. So when they arrested him first, then they arrested his producer, then lastly I think they arrested his cameraman, and his camera was on the floor just recording still. So that the news desk, they were still reporting. They were just like, this is happening live, like right now. And she's still narrating as you see them putting him in cuffs, putting the cameraman in cuffs and escorting him off. And they were detained for a couple of hours.
You know what also like disgusts me? Like what really kind of annoyed me? Like Lil Wayne trying to make it seem like, oh, don't like put everyone in a box. And I get it, like you trying to say like basically not all officers are bad and stuff like that, but the way he worded it, it was just so wrong. It was like, this not the time. Like this not the time. Like that really annoyed me, and I'm just like, he's such a smart man. Like
I think it just came off wrong.
It probably did. It probably did. But really, and he's just like, oh, okay. Like people think sending a tweet out is gonna do something. Oh, people think, oh, saying something's gonna do something. Okay, are you there helping the family? Are you there? Lil Wayne, are you like seriously? Like,
but
kid, that really
Lil Wayne, it has a bias. He has a bias. Lil Wayne has a bias, and he lets it be known that he has a bias. He always talks about the person who saved my life was a white police officer. Like, not all of that. His frame of reference was, okay, I had this white savior in my life, this police officer who saved me when I was younger and I shot myself, and he's the reason why I'm still here today. And not all officers are bad, and he was there in my life, and he was, and I'm just like, this is his usual basis of logic of saying basically not all white people are bad.
Yeah, that's good.
You gotta, you know, when people like, when you go through things, that's your experience. So I guess certain experiences, you know, give you certain insight on certain people. So for him, that white officer changed his view on I guess on most of the officers. But there are, you know, there are bad officers out there.
Yeah,
There's bad
but
and there's good.
what he said, this not the time for that. We don't want to hear that.
Yeah, he could have kept.
He
could have
can
kept
say
the comments.
When you get
But-
arrested,
What?
What you say,
Shaniqua,
Rishi?
no, continue what you're saying because you start breaking up.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was just gonna say he could say that, and that's fine, whatever. That's his opinion, cool. But it's too early for all that bullshit. Nobody want to hear that. It really aggravated me. But whatever.
Isaac is now in the chat. I'm done. How do you feel about it, Max?
What about Wayne?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just how they feel. I can't really tell people what they gonna tweet and what not to tweet. I mean, not tell them, but like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's too early. It's an opinion. Everybody allowed to have it. It's either, like Shaniqua said, she don't want to hear that shit. Some people do. Some people don't. I don't know.
Why do I feel like our connection breaking up? Something going on. Something is afoot. Something's happening with our connection. Hold on, let me hit the chat. Isaac has entered the chat. Isaac has not entered the
Well,
chat.
he missed
Hello,
a lot.
Isaac, because you have
You
made
missed a lot, Isaac.
You missed a lot.
So
You missed a lot, Isaac.
My boy Isaac, what's up, G?
All right. So on a lesser, I guess a lesser lighter note, because there's a little bit of comical relief to this outside of everything that's going on. But it's still on par with how everything has been going this week. Doja Cat. Let's talk about our good sis Doja Cat.
She
And if you're
canceled.
not familiar with who
Canceled.
Doja
She ain't our good sis.
Cat
Who says she
is,
canceled?
Ray.
No, I ain't say she canceled.
yeah, and then
That was
Ray
me. I was kidding. I'm sorry. I'll stop. Sorry.
said,
Oh, that was Mariah. Mariah, why you don't? Put your videos on. Videos on, people, videos on. But
Put your videos on. I'll give you $1,000.
You annoying.
Can I do my transition? Why you always want to do this when I'm in my transition? You
My
leave,
bad.
you go eat food, you come back, you iron your shirt, you put on jewelry. But when I want to do my transition, you
Wait,
want
hold
to.
up.
He
Wait a
ironed his
minute.
shirt.
Wait, hold up. It was been like that though. What you talk about?
That thing's still not ironed, kid.
What you mean? Yeah, it was been.
I'm
What
just
you talk
saying,
about?
he come back. He try to get fresher as the time go on. He try to look better.
Wait, what
and
did you
always
talk
think he
about?
don't feel like he can pay.
I've been like that since 10 p.m. man.
Nah.
okay, back to Doja Cat, kid.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So if you're not familiar with Doja Cat is a hip hop alternative artist. She's been out since like 2012. She had many lesser singles, and I'm going to emphasize lesser because it was trash. She came to prominence from Moo, Bitch I'm a Cow, and she got the #1 recently with Nicki. So basically, she is black and white. She's mixed. and she's a little weird. Some things surface of her in tiny chats with white racists and sympathizers, basically making jokes about niggas, saying the words, showing her boobs, playing with herself, just some weirdo, emo, sixth grade girl shit that just can't really be explained. But
Sixth grade kid?
she you never met no white sixth grade emo girl? Listen.
Sixth grade
Listen. Listen, Mariah, what are you, Christine? What was the girl named Kristen? We had this one white girl.
Oh yeah, she was my friend at one point in life.
She was a thought. Yeah, she was your friend.
That's when we stopped being. All right, I said it. You didn't need to repeat it. I know she was my friend. When I realized that she was into witchcraft and shit, I backed the fuck out. All right. I backed out.
She was a Doja Cat. She was a Doja Cat before Doja Cat. Okay? She was a Doja Cat before Doja Cat. Listen here, y'all. Listen, y'all. Listen. And I always got a friend who do witchcraft, but she was a weird girl in general. But let's move forward. So Doja.
That's a real interesting friend.
Yeah, I got a bunch of friends who be doing it. You know, it happens. But
yeah, let's talk about it.
What?
I always got a friend. Mariah knows. I always have a friend every year that
don't put me
just find me and they just
they just find you.
It'd be like they be either Wiccans or they do Santeria.
Oh yeah.
Isaac
it's
Bell,
always
bro.
something. No, she didn't do woo.
She probably did.
Anyways, so Doja.
Cash
I'm sorry,
Fiddle.
Metro is breaking up. So, Doja issued an apology. She issued a written one, and then more things came out. And then she got on live, and she kind of tried to backtrack a little bit with her apology. Like it was very aggressive. I just want to know how y'all feel about it because she is a hip hop artist. She had the #1 song in the country. She was with Queen Nicki on the song. And she's low-key racist, but she's black and she's white and she's confused about her identity, but she's angry. I don't know. So I want to hear how y'all feel. I want
People
y'all
be
to sound off on
apologizing only when they get caught though. So is that really how you truly feel, or you just got caught? I don't really care for her. She's straight.
Sis low-key try to blame her daddy just because he wasn't there for her.
Okay.
Like that's the excuse to not like yourself being black. You still black, even though your mom's white, scared of you. And my dad wasn't there or whatever.
So
okay, but and you know how
many you black.
Exactly, mixed girls that still love themselves and still at least respect the culture. Like what? Bruh.
I don't care for them. Next caller.
My thing is Doja Cat look black. That's what I'm just like, sis, you look like you are cousin. You can't.
She looked black, but
why are you confused? Who told you you looked white?
She's not aging black because she does not look her age.
How old is she?
Ain't she like what, 25?
Maybe 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah, she does not look 24 or 25.
She looks like she's 20.
Nah.
She looks 26.
She looks 28-ish, 29.
28, thank you, Ray. 28, 29, thank you. Exactly. So she black, but she ain't Asian black.
Okay, if she don't want to be black, she don't listen. If she don't like black people, she don't like black people. It be that's it.
Ray.
No, me, you can't change what somebody like. Like she claim white, she white.
You're right.
And I honestly, to me, like So like going back from what Shanique was saying, like I don't really like know her whole story. I haven't really tried to like do any research or whatever. I kind of just take it for what it is. Like if it is the case where her white mother didn't really like instill in her that, hey, you know, there's another part to you that has a lot of important history behind it, then her mother is at fault for that. However, once you know, as an adult, were able to, you know, actually figure out like, hey, there's another side to me, you know, I am half Black, I feel like at that point it becomes choice. Now going back to her apology, I agree with Ray. Like people only apologize once they get caught. And that's not really a Black or white issue. That's more of a human issue. But my thing is the way she went about it, I feel like was stupid. Like for one, you took too long to say anything. And then two, your response wasn't even your response. It was a typed out response from whatever PR publicist, whoever you paying on your, you know, that's on your payroll, made a response for you that you knew was going to be politically correct. So that's where she fucked up at, in my opinion. Because if you had, because one thing about Black people, going back to what Barkeisha was saying earlier, we're very, very forgiving and we can be very fickle. So it's like once we really accept somebody into the Black community, we really like go hard for whoever we say, oh, you know what, we fuck with you. So I feel like she would have did better if she would have just came out and be like, I fucked up, I was wrong, and just period. Instead of going to, oh, my daddy wasn't there and that was my Black side, so I didn't know my Black side, even though I look in the mirror and I could see that I'm Black. Like I feel like that's where she messed up at. She should have just laid it out on the table and be like, I fucked up. I got some issues, you know, y'all be blessed.
All right, quick question. So how do you know it wasn't hers?
What you mean?
Like the thing she posted on her Instagram saying sorry and stuff like that.
No, you're I feel like you have a point with that too. It could have been from her, but most of the time when like celebrities do stuff like that, and I could be wrong, you know what I mean? But most of the time
celebrities don't sit there and write
just gonna respond, right? They can't just respond because it's
Barack
too much
Obama.
on the line. They got a whole team behind them, a whole label and stuff. It's all type of legal things that go into that. They can't just respond to stuff like that, because if they say things out of turn, that could put, you know, their livelihood at risk. So I feel like that response was, you know, I know some of what, you know, what she was feeling was in there, but I feel like it was more of like a scripted, coached kind of thing, in my opinion. Because then why did you go back after that and then do a live? Like if that would, you know what I mean? It felt like she kept feeling like she had like points to get across that she wasn't able to like articulate in the first post because she didn't write it. I could be wrong though, so you could be right.
I understood. You had some points, Ryan. Thank you.
Max, how do you feel? Since you're a guy, you're a guy.
Nah, I ain't say too much because like I don't really follow Doja Cat like that. Like I only seen her once on Wild 'N Out.
That was not too long ago.
That was like the only time I ever, that was the first time ever like knowing who she was. Like I didn't know who Doja Cat was until that episode of Wild 'N Out. But like I mean, I do agree with the whole PR team thing. Like if she came out with that whole post and everything like that, because I don't really follow people like that. When I heard the whole story about what she said and all that stuff with the racism, like I kind of bypassed it because I feel like that's just pure ignorance, and I don't really feed into ignorance too much. So I just keep on about my day. But I mean, I definitely feel like she had a PR team behind her because she's a celebrity, and if is she on a label or something? I feel like if she's on a label, like she making them bread. So like as soon
I think
as
she
did
signed
something,
for a public RCA.
so yeah, so I'm pretty sure like whenever you do something stupid, like I'm pretty sure somebody's in your ear like, yo, you gotta put this out. Like you have to give a statement. Because that's kind of the same thing they do with athletes. Like if an athlete do something stupid or say something stupid, the PR people come to him and be like, hey, you have to say something. Or they tell you what to say or what not to say. You feel me? So
yeah.
I mean, like that's what I feel like towards, but I don't really follow too much on what she be doing, cause I heard that one story and I was like, okay, well, that don't make no sense. The whole story sound ignorant to what, like the details I'm getting about it. So I was like, no, I'm gonna just keep on scrolling.
So we brought up Doja Cat just because she fits in really. Actually, the story aligns perfectly with our main topic that we were gonna have. Before everything that transpired, one of our major topics this week was gonna be about colorism. But everything unfolded how it did, so we had to touch that first, and the Doja Cat thing just kind of fell into our lap as well when it comes to that. So obviously in different cultures, colorism means different things to different people. Standard, it's some type of prejudice or bias towards someone because of their skin color. It happens in the Black community, happens in the Asian community. It happens anywhere where you are darker. Darker people, we Black, we're the darkest of the people. So we get mistreated more, and it happens in our own community, especially in island people. So we just wanted to talk about that this week. I just want to hear y'all experiences. Like, it's the great debate of light skin versus dark skin that never leaves for some reason. So I really want to hear personal experiences, and then we can kind of get into the meat and potatoes.
I want to hear Cass' experience. Because Cass likes to brag about being dark skin.
Wait, what? What happened?
You be bragging about being dark skin, which is great.
Cat.
Have you ever experienced colorism?
I don't know, but I wouldn't mind because I don't care. You feel me?
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't let people's opinion, like, get into me because dark skin winning. You feel me?
What?
I'm that nigga.
Cass, that is colorism.
That's the perfect
I
example.
agree with him. Yeah,
You
dark
feel me?
skin niggas is in.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
That's colorism within itself, sweetie.
No.
Perfect example.
I'm just telling you. Listen, I'm just telling you, like, my
uplifting.
mindset, how my mindset is. I don't let, like, people, like, you feel me, get to me. So it's like, to me, myself, like, okay, dark skin is like, you feel me, it's what's going, like, winning right now. It's like,
Y'all live though, y'all live. No cap.
huh? You said what?
No,
Right?
I said y'all live.
You feel me? You see? That kind of boosts me up a little bit, but I already had it in myself already. You feel me? That's what having self-confidence. You feel me?
So wait, question. Would you grease Doja Cat?
To be honest, I don't even.
Shaniqua.
I don't follow her like that. Listen, I don't pay attention to.
Dark-skinned women.
I don't.
Dark-skinned men, y'all tend to like fair-skinned women. So
I mean, listen.
Let me tell you how it is. Dark-skinned men, they love them some light skins. I'm not saying all, majority. And
But
then
Black queens.
women like them some dark-skinned men.
We're all Black. We're all
like
Black.
them dark skins.
But
you
know
me?
it'd be favoritism, Risha.
What
You
do
know
you
the
mean?
preferences.
No,
That go both ways. Though.
I know it do.
Cass said we love our Black women, and I'm like, Cass, both are Black women.
All right, or dark skin.
I'm not talking about Doja Cat. Doja Cat is Doja Cat. I'm saying if you're lighter complected or you're darker complected, they're both Black women. Just because Cass said we love our Black women, and I was just like,
they both Black.
That sound like when a white person say, "I see no color." That's what that sound like.
Hell yeah.
That's what that.
But listen, I love my chocolate woman. You feel me? I love my chocolate.
That's what's up.
You feel me? Yes, sir. We gotta lift them up. You feel me?
I will be honest though, I did have a thing for light skinned girls growing up.
Trust me, it's okay. We know.
But I think it was like, I want to say it was kind of like, not even a phase. Like, it was kind of like trained into me or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Instilled in you, right?
they
That's
make
true. Some
light
people,
skinned
yeah.
people that thing. Like,
But
cause I
let
remember
me
in high
look
school,
up Doja Cat.
Wait,
Cause
hold on. You see, Cass always trying to, that's why you speak last, Cass. Let me say something real quick. When y'all talk over each other, it confuses Zoom. And when I get the recording back, it'd be like, please, for my sake, please.
Okay.
see, this
When
is what
it
they was
comes to
talking
a
about.
subtle end,
They was saying,
right in.
they was saying organization. This is what she was talking about earlier.
or Cass missed that part. So Cass, what do you have to say?
About what?
What do you have to say, Cass?
About what though? I wasn't listening.
While you were interjecting, you had something to say.
Oh no, I was just trying to look at
My
Doja
God.
Cat, who she is. I was trying to see, like, you feel me?
If you agree.
What? Yo, yeah, funny.
You
I
have
think
no
that's just
shame.
crazy.
No shame.
No, I just wanted
No
to
shame.
see who she is, though. I just wanted to see, you feel me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you feel me? Nothing serious, you feel me?
No pues.
No plus.
I
Oh,
appreciate Max for admitting that it was instilled in him to like light-skinned women, because that's what a lot of Black men get instilled in them. And like,
And they don't want to.
but it's smart. They like to do that. Oh, you should go with the opposite of your color. Why?
I heard that because when they have kids or whatever, they won't come up. as black.
what? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, you act like you ain't never hear that, kid.
No, I mean, who wouldn't want to have a dark skinned baby? Look at Cass.
Shut up.
Anyways.
I love the confidence.
Cass, quiet thyself, please. Please.
Oh, boy. But I think like
Hold
that's,
on.
I don't know, they kind of subliminally throw it in there though. Like the same way how they do it with white folks. Like if you Google white teens compared to Googling black teens, you get a whole different, like the images, you get a whole different result. I feel like they do that same thing with light skinned people though. Like they instantly make them like
I concur.
the more attractive people rather than a dark skinned person.
That's true.
The house
That's
niggas.
kinda,
That's what they
yeah,
are.
like, and that's, they threw that in there too. The house niggas and the field niggas. So it's like, damn, the house niggas is better than you automatically. So it's like shit. And they always say, yeah, they in the house because they the light skinned people. So I'm like, damn. Growing up into it, it's like shit. If you attracted to somebody, you kind of already attracted to their status or some shit like that. Especially when you're younger, you don't really look too much into the emotions or whatever. It's like mainly the status or whatever. So I kind of got attracted to the status because, like, say if I'm in middle school, everybody was always going crazy over the red girl. It's like, damn, you kind of like, shit, what's the red girl about? Let me go see what she about.
Women go through it too, though, which is sad. Women, I don't think it's just a Black thing or just like a man thing. Because I know me being from the islands, like, so my grandmother and my mom still say, like, don't get no, dark skinned man or no nappy headed man or whatever, because you're not. But mind you, I'm brown, like brown, Black, whatever you want to call it. I'm dark skinned. But to them, they're like, oh, it's a thing called being coolie or whatever. They feel like I'm somewhat like that. So they feel like, oh, don't get no dark skinned man and like mess up your lineage almost. Like that's basically what they're like hinting at. And then the thing is, it's not just like the colorism issue is not just within the Black community. Asian communities, like there are dark skinned people in Asia, like they're Black people, like our color from there, but they don't public, especially like in India, they don't publicize the dark skinned Indians. Like colorism is a big issue. So I feel like, he's right as far as like it being related to status and stuff. Because it's like, oh, if you're messing with somebody who's lighter skin, it's like you kind of have like a better chance at like an easier life. Like, and it's not like somebody's telling you that, but that's kind of like the message that's being brought across. Like, or if you mess with a red girl, it's like, oh dang, like you got the best of the best almost. Or like if you mess with a light-skinned man or a man who look like he gonna have soft hair or light eyes or whatever the case, oh, you gonna have pretty kids. You gonna have an easier life. Your kids gonna, you know what I mean? Your kids ain't gonna have no issues.
That's true.
I mean, in the Caribbean culture, because we're not that far removed from European rule and stuff like that, like Hispanic Caribbean people, they'll say themselves like, at least in, I think in like English speaking, and I'm gonna say like Haitian, Jamaican, Dominica, like those type of Caribbean households, it's more covert, but and because in like Spanish speaking countries, they have such a larger population of like European, mixed, native. It's like further the race. That's what they say. I forgot exactly the phrase in Spanish, but they tell you further the race. Like you always want to make the race closer to white as you can with every generation. They tell you down hard down further, like you got to better your race. Like, and it's crazy because I hear that and I be like, y'all really just be saying that? Like y'all really just say that? Like for real? Like
Yeah, they big on it.
remember I was
No, I say yeah, they're big on that. Like your future generation, you know, because who your partner is who you're gonna end up having kids with.
Yeah.
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 It sounds like some white people.
It's unfortunate. It's the
That-
unfortunate thing.
You know what that is,
I
Matt?
don't-
That's the Willie Lynch. That's what the crackers taught the black people.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. The more I hear it, I'm like, it sounds like some shit the white people was just like, listen, I know you black, but shit, you don't gotta be as black.
Right.
Like
That's
right.
what
you can be a
that's
little lighter.
instilled in
and you can
slaves.
accept it.
They instilled in slaves to make them hate each other, on top of the hate that they received from white people, racist white people. Willie Lynch. That shit is deep rooted.
I want to say that shit gotta be deep because till this day, motherfuckers still go through it with dark skin and light skin. So it's like, damn, it's still that house in the field.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's still that house nigga and a field nigga mentality going on.
mentality. I want to know, like, in your personal lives, like in your families and stuff like that, have you guys experienced colorism? Because I know in my family, that's like a thing. Like it's a real palatable, like it's a thing in my family. Like I can't even lie. It's real. It's
What do you mean by that? They like
my
light skin more?
family on my mother's side, they have a mixed heritage. So like my great grandma, her mother was from Syria, so she was Middle Eastern. Her dad was black. I didn't know because I love my great grandma. My great grandma raised me when I used to live up north. She ain't messed with none of my cousins and my aunts and stuff like that because they were dark skinned. And I never could understand why they hated her so much. Like if you were a dark skinned man, it's okay. If you're a dark skinned woman, it wasn't okay. Her mom was white, so she couldn't understand. Like she, in her mind, it was just like, I don't get it. How are you apart? Like she removed herself somewhat from them as if they were not descendants of her lineage. So I would get treated differently. My mom would get treated differently. My brother would get treated differently. My brother is biracial. He's not biracial technically. His dad's a mixed Latin person. But my mom looked a particular way, mixed Black Asian person. I think I'm the blackest out of the three of them, but I'm light skinned still. And they just treated everybody differently based on how you looked, how your hair texture was. My mom's hair was wavy, so it's a given. My brother's mixed, it's a given. Everybody looks like that. So it was just like, it's something I didn't notice when I was younger until I started growing up, and I was just like, damn, why don't you guys like her? Or why don't you guys mess with this part of our family? Or why don't you speak? And it's just like, oh, okay. It's not as much as a happy mixture as I thought. When I was younger, I was just like, yeah, most of my family's married to white people. Or yeah, most of my relatives are mixed. Like I was just common to that. Like I grew up around white people. I'm used to it. I grew up in a mixed background. I'm used to it. So it's not till I got older and I was just like, oh, y'all niggas are prejudiced though. Like y'all really don't like being black. It's crazy. Crazy. Why? For what?
But don't worry, y'all.
Don't
worry. Don't worry, what, Cass?
Nah, to my dark-skinned woman, listen, y'all are beautiful, all right? So don't let nobody tell y'all otherwise, you feel me? It's lit.
Do Haitians have to deal with colorism?
Huh?
Do Haitians deal with
Say
colorism?
thank you.
What?
You said do Haitians
Yeah,
deal with
what?
colorism? Hell yeah.
Yeah, what? Max, what are you talking about? What?
I ain't never
Hell
heard
yeah.
of it. I've never heard of like I ain't never deal with it or heard of it or nothing.
It's major.
Really?
Major.
Yeah, I ain't never had to deal with it. Like, is it? I don't know. Like, just how you explained it. Like, oh, y'all like black people within y'all culture. Like, I ain't never had to deal with like.
Maybe because you're a
dark.
guy, it's probably harder for us girls. It's probably because you're a guy. Because instantly, women, you know, they attest to dark-skinned men. So it's probably because you're a guy. But
I'm gonna read Dee's comment. Dorothy said, "Society really trained us to think fair skin is beautiful, but Buzz Red Doms exist, but they tend to
Yes.
get passed on to
Nah,
society."
you should they do though. You should.
This my
I
thing.
don't
Why
mess
do
with the
every red
Thank
dumb
you,
think
Dorothy.
like they on top of the world?
Yeah, I don't like them, kid. I don't like them at all. I
Max.
started not like the red girls. I ain't gonna lie. Why?
Dog.
Like, y'all
Society
But
think
makes
niggas
listen,
every
ridiculous.
red girl think they fine as hell. It really do be some buzz red dumbs for
And
real.
then y'all talk to a nigga any kind of way. I don't like that.
Who's
Like how
y'all?
Who's
I'm
y'all?
talking
Who
about red
is
girl.
y'all?
I'm talking about
I'm
red
brown
girl.
skin.
I'm talking about the red girl. So Barkeith and her kind. I don't like how y'all be drinking, motherfuckers. Y'all be talking to people like any kind of
No,
way.
I.
Just a
To
bad
be honest, I don't.
They do talk any kind of way.
I don't consider myself red. I don't consider myself
Yeah.
light skinned only because I grew up
Brown skin girl.
with people who are lighter than me. And I feel like I was the blacker person in my family, in my immediate family. I'm the blacker, the blacker.
Nah. This is Barkeisha 2.0. That's why though. That's why. This is Barkeisha 2.0.
No, Mariah. People used to when I would go out with my mom, they would be like, "What? Your mom's Native American? What are you? You're black?"
But that don't
Kid,
make
you was a red
Like,
dom in high school.
okay.
You was a red dom in high school, kid.
my only thing is that don't because you still look
What I'm saying,
Red Dom's
no.
toxic, boy.
to say that. You still look light skinned. Why
Oh
would
my
they
gosh, you're not gonna open the door? Come on, get it.
like what people are crazy? Why would they say that to you? But you still look light.
It's like, okay, like I remember I was at the hair salon. I was going to Dominican hair salon. You know, I always go to Dominican hair salon. Going to Dominican hair salon, and it was, you know how people used to react to my mom's hair because that shit was long and the shit was wavy and stuff like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, your hair. Oh, it's so nice. And it's this and that. And mind you, I'm younger and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm just like, and they're like, oh no, your hair's nice too, mommy. It's nice. And I was just like, I understand what's happening here. I'm young, but I'm not that young. I already know. When I went back to Connecticut, my family was like, wow, you got dark. And I was just like, It's just like, you got an afro?
My thing with them is dark for who? You still look light, and even if you can, you still look.
Yeah, I ain't like, still light skin. I don't.
You still look. You would never be like black, unless probably you get older. But you still look.
But
light.
that's
That's crazy. They're ignorant.
what I mean, and I'm talking about like, and it's not my family who would be like, say little things to me. It's like, you know, Marcia and them and all them. Marcia's, it's like prejudice gets passed down, right? So it's like you're treated poorly because of your skin complexion. Everybody's like, oh, you look this type of way now. It's just like, but why isn't your hair like your mom's? Why isn't it like Sanjay's? Why are you not as light as them? Why doesn't your eyes look like that? You don't look that Asian as them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are things that I hear from my family as I got older. It was just like, and I'm just like, but you black, me black, we all black. What y'all thought I was gonna look like? Black girl. I got an afro because I'm black girl.
Shay, how do you feel about being dark skinned?
Wouldn't be nothing else. I age gracefully.
Period.
That's what I'm talking about. Ray, how do you feel about being dark skinned?
Mariah said, I used to get made fun of for
I
liking
love
dark
the skin I'm in.
What Ray said?
I said I love the skin I'm in.
Oh, okay.
I don't do the whole like light skin dark. I care about what's inside, you know, like who you are as a person.
Say
Okay,
G.
Because
okay, Ray. So, what kind of neck do you prefer?
now, with that being said,
Exactly.
Oh, now she gotta say now.
Now, with that being said,
Get out.
I love all kinds, but I stay away from light skin.
Ray, Ray sounds just like Cass.
Wait, what do you
Ray
mean?
sound just like Cass.
I stay away
You
from
sound
light
very.
skin.
I don't see color. I don't see color. I don't.
Look, I don't see color.
I don't
now,
see
when it
color.
comes
People
to dating,
scare me.
that's a different story.
Mm.
No, but I like everybody.
I know
We
my
love them all.
has changed. She is. She not being honest. My preference changed. I used to prefer light skinned boys.
No, I kept it a G, y'all.
Look at
I
that.
I don't rock
Look
with
at that.
light-skinned
You was one
dudes.
of those people too.
What?
Hey, what can
I'm for real. I honestly, growing up, I've never seen in my family, I've never seen black people married. G shit, not until recently, I've never seen black people married in my family. Growing up into the age of like 10, all my family, anybody who is married legally by law in my family were married to white people or someone who is not black. It's not until I got like 11, 13 when my younger uncles and stuff like that and cousins and stuff started to get married, and they were marrying black Jamaicans and stuff like that, or black American people, to keep it a G. My whole side of family in other countries are married to white people. Cass, since you wanted, I'm gonna be honest, where that preference probably came from.
I ain't never colorism.
Who's next? Who's next?
Max
I
like
know.
Spanish girls or light skinned girls when he was younger?
So what?
Know how you said you like Spanish girls or like light skinned girls when you were younger?
Where Trey at? This is a perfect question for him.
Oh yes, get Trey on the line. Let me put Trey as a panelist. You right, Ray? Who am I? I'm messing
Damn, why y'all getting
up.
on
I'm
my
slipping on my
dog?
job. Oh, he not here. Dang.
He was in here.
He was in here for a while too. Somebody text Trayvon, tell him we need him now. We need him ASAP now.
We about to wrap up.
Yeah, in the next what, 20, 15 minutes?
He
We need
do, D.
Trayvon now. This is a Trayvon topic. Just to
You
keep
like them
everyone up
without
to
earpiece, D.
speed, Trayvon is a friend of the show. Huh?
No, I was talking to D.
Like, the delay on this thing is annoying.
Trayvon said the
Trayvon is
audio
a
not
friend
working. I told him to try again.
Blush.
No earpiece, D. No D set.
Yeah, like a blush.
Trayvon lying. His audio working. He lying. Because if his audio not working, that means he can't make phone calls. He's using it off his phone. Trayvon is a liar. He's using it off his phone. Come on. Since Trayvon, okay, I want to talk about this. Since Trayvon not here, we gonna talk about him. We his friend, so it don't matter. Max, you gonna be his friend today too, because we all gonna talk shit. So
Wow. I'm already on
he's
his
coming.
side.
He's here. Where's
I don't
Trayvon?
like it.
Trey,
Allowed to talk. He here. I'm upgrading him to promote to panelist. He's a panelist now.
Yes,
supposed
I
to be
could
on
love
here
it
now.
him. Hop
That
him
boy
on.
Trey
Why?
Hello?
Trey, put on
Hi, Trey.
put on your video.
Yo, Trey CD.
Trayvon, put
See
on your
my face
video.
for dog.
Put on your video.
snap.
Stop. You already know what the deal is, bro.
Man. Why y'all
Hold
trying
on,
to
hold
get
on.
on my dog for, dog? What's up with y'all?
Relax, Cat.
Trayvon
Before
gone.
we get on you.
Hold
Relax.
Hold on.
His wave cap.
Ginger, watch out.
Trey, yo, Trey, be ready here.
I bet him. Love it.
You about to love it, kid.
They trying to live it, you here.
Y'all
With
gonna
vinegar and all.
Love it.
They say you like them blush, huh?
No
I
D set,
don't-
no
The
earpiece.
thing is, I
Okay,
don't date
let me
blondes. I
ask
keep
Max
telling
something.
them
Max,
that.
do you have that friend who never wants to admit that they like something, but every time they keep on doing it over and over and
I got a friend like that. Always in
over and
denial.
over again, but they won't admit it.
My brother like
Ray's crazy.
my brother like that with girls though. Like he really do like light skinned girls, and we keep telling him he got a preference. And he be like, nah, that's just what I end up with. I'm like, yeah.
I know
it is, 'cause
somebody
you
just
going to
like that.
Like I'm
That's
like, bro,
not me, y'all. That's not me.
Meet Trayvon. Trayvon, meet
Nah.
Trayvon. He right down there. Yeah.
nah, they took me. I already told you I'm on his side already. Nah, bro, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
But
I
Trayvon,
don't know, like,
let's know
I
how you
don't
grew
know,
up.
like,
Were you told to like fair skinned girls?
Trayvon, can we see your
Nah.
face, please? Because the sound is
yo,
not
I
good.
look
The sound
rough.
is too
Look at
close
me.
to your
I'm
face.
looking rough.
We are in quarantine for 3 months. What you gonna look like?
I be getting
A
a taste
dandelion? Come
every
on
2
now.
weeks. I'm sorry. I still be getting a taste. But what were you asking me now, boss?
We want to talk about your preference of light skin and Hispanic, primarily Latina women.
I
Because
like
you know
them
that's what you go
Latinas too
for.
though.
I like them
We
all,
know.
though. I like
Oh,
them
here we
all.
go. Here we go.
But how come you always get like lighter women?
I don't know that. All right. Me personally, no, real talk. I don't know. I feel like for me, like, don't get me wrong. I get dark skinned women. I do, but I feel like it'd be a little more harder. I just feel like they don't be attractive to me. Like I'm gonna be 100 with you. So the light skinned, the Hispanic, they just love me, but dark skinned women just be on some other stuff.
Oh, here we go.
So you gonna put it back on the
He
woman.
gonna put it
You
on
ain't
the
gonna put it on
girl.
your preference.
I mean, like I told you, I like them all. Like seriously.
Liking them all and dating them all and pursuing a
I got no
relationship with them all.
boundaries, baby.
You should.
No boundaries don't mean nothing.
No. Like, I don't know, like, to me, a color is just a color. Like, I don't know,
Oh,
like,
here we go.
but no, real
here
talk.
we
Real
go.
talk,
Let me
Here we
tell
go.
you, Let me tell
But
you
real talk though, a blonde, no, real talk, a
the
blonde, I
psychology
don't
behind it.
know.
People who say you don't see color are prejudiced and racist, and this has been proven time and time again by science.
I'm
People
not
are more
racist.
prone
Please stop. Please stop.
to
Please stop with
racism
that
and
one.
prejudice are people who say they don't see color. You want to find the study? It's science.
That studies
It's
is
science.
fake.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little racist. I don't like white people too much.
But I mean, like me
Thank you for
personally,
your honesty.
like blondes, like I never really had one though. Like seriously, it's been like Hispanics and black. Like all jokes aside,
Would you date a blonde?
I don't know. That'd be kind of weird. Like I'm cool with them, but that'll be weird to be honest. Like I remember, like
Cause culture.
I had like this blonde homeboy. You feel me? Like his family, like you know, we all like family, but you know, when you just surrounded by them, it's just only that shit is weird a little bit.
Yeah.
This is weird to me. Like I could chill with dudes, like I could chill with them, but it's just a certain amount of heads. Don't get me wrong, I'm not racist at all. It's just I just feel like some of them just look at me funny. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it.
I was gonna say,
They probably
blonde-
thinking about doing some get out stuff to your ass.
I was gonna say I went to school in Nebraska, so I was around nothing but blondes though. And like,
Hey, who is that? Put your face on the camera.
His face in the
So
camera.
wait. Let me ask you, like, so how was that for you? Like, I don't know. I feel like I went to school with like, I don't know, like it was mixed, white, black, Hispanic.
You went to crop.
Yeah, I went to
It was
crop, so it was mixed.
That was we did not have a mixed school. That was high school. He went to crop too. Max went to crop. It was predominantly white school and rich, affluent white people.
No, it was a good mix. What you mean?
Nah, it was no, seriously, no.
Have you
all
ever looked
jokes
at the
aside,
statistics of crop?
No,
It's because you
all
hung around
jokes
black
aside.
people. It's because you hung
No.
around black people.
Listen,
I was
you're not listening. Oh, she never went to the
Bruh.
school. She never went to the school. I'm trying to tell you. When I went
Max
there,
and
no,
I
you
went to
had.
class.
Oh,
We had class
my
together.
God.
Yeah, it was a
Should
good
have
mix.
let me talk. Listen. You had some North Miami kids in there. You had N&B kids in there. You had Northern kids in there. You had Carol City kids in there. No, the school was
I'm
mixed.
from
all jokes aside.
Norland. What are you telling
Oh
me?
my God, this
Nah,
kid!
that was a
I
good
know a
mix.
few
That's
kids.
a lot, kid.
I'm
That was a
telling
good
you,
mix
it
of
was a
kids.
whole mix.
Mariah, come back on the live. Shaniqua, make Mariah come back on the live because no, it was.
Bro, it was a good mix. I swear to you. No,
it was not a good mix. It's because y'all were around black and Hispanic kids. You did not have. You had class. I would be two black people in my class.
I went to the high school. Half of my class was
I
black.
didn't go to the
What
high
are you
school.
talking about?
Max, hold on.
There's black kids in my class.
I'm talking Trayvon because you Trayvon, we're having a conversation between two people who walked the same stage at the same time, who I knew in high school.
I'm telling her.
I don't know who went to crop. You said you went to crop. I don't believe you. Max. Max.
Oh my God.
Max.
Yo,
Lightning.
He's coming back.
So wait. How was school in Nebraska? Like, what was that like?
Damn.
Cause you said you was around full white people.
Yeah, just nothing but white. It was like a culture shock, really. It was like that's I think I started understanding more like race, kind of in a way. Like I was like, all right, I see how. Like the one thing I learned from being around all them white people is, and I might be wrong, but this is from my personal experience. I feel like all white people got this one green ass gene in them. Like they just green ass niggas deep down, no matter what. Like they just born with it. Like even the ones I said,
you
cool,
right about it.
It's like it's a certain. I always tell people it's gonna be a time in life where it's just gonna get tested, and then they gonna show their true colors, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I got that from every white person I ever was around.
Wow.
Like every white person, like even the people I'm cool with, I knew it was always a certain situation. I'm like, okay, you just showed your true colors to me, cause I feel like it's just in their damn genes, like it's in their DNA.
Can you please
he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth.
Can you please
I gotta agree with him on that. You done the truth on that one.
Cállate la boca. You understand what that means? But hold on. Shaniqua asked and Max a question.
No, I was just saying, can he give us an example of like a situation?
Tranquilo, chico. You understand what that means,
All
right?
right. I said an example was like I was on the football team. Like that was the only reason I was in Nebraska. And like the team, you could tell was so segregated. Like you could always tell the segregation on the team. Like just all the white boys was over there, and like all the black
Damn.
kids just somehow, some way, always conjugated to each other. Like always, no matter what, whether it be we go to the weight room, you go group up with the black kids. You go lift with them. If we go and eat, we go eat with the black kids. But like even with that, the black kids we would still try to incorporate the white kids because I feel like I don't know why we understand teams better than them. Like that's the thing I noticed. Like we understood team. Like yo, I need you to win and you need me to win. So we'll always try to, you feel me? Like let's get together. But like with the white kids, it was always situations where like they'll try to get you in trouble. Like say I'm like 2 minutes late to meetings or I'm like 5 minutes late. Like they'll go out their way to make sure I get in trouble. Whereas like the black kids on the team, they'll help me sneak in the meeting. You feel me? So it was like, and I always look at them like, bro, why you doing that? Like, you know.
That's true. Black people look
gonna
out
happen.
way more.
Yeah. And it's like, bro, why y'all like, why you going, and then the shit is like, even if you're not helping me or not, like, why you going out your way to make it be known that, oh, Max doing something wrong? And like, why y'all took the opportunity? And it's like, and the shit, the crazy thing was, and the fact that I'm not on that team no more, I saw a lot of shit that them white boys was doing. Like, I seen niggas doing coke. I seen niggas at parties doing all this wild shit. And like, niggas could have went and dropped dimes on all y'all. Or niggas could have brought all that up. And it's like, but nah, why would I do that to my own teammate? I understood what teammate was. No matter, like, I saw teammate before I saw my white teammate. I saw just teammate. But to them, it's like, that's that black kid. So it's like, they always tried to point out what I was doing wrong or something. Like, even if I, like, the way I spoke. Like, I never questioned, like, how country they spoke or nothing. But they always tried to nitpick at if I said something, like, I said straight a lot. I ain't say straight. So they always would nitpick at me saying straight. And it's like, bro, it's just like, that's where I come from. So it's like, why I always nitpick at something? Like, they always pick a thing or a certain attribute about me, and they'll always nitpick at it. Whereas, like, I was more accepting to them and, like, just trying to get to know them. So it's like, I always look at them like, yeah, y'all just some green-ass niggas. Like, y'all just born to not like me.
Yeah.
Cause like, I'm not even giving you reasons to not like me. It's just you just not fucking with me. And like, I don't understand why. But it was those same people that I started noticing, like, white people, they think black people are the coolest people in the fucking world. And I feel like it's a jealousy deep down in it. Like, they really envy the shit. Whereas, like, we not trying to be cool, it's just us. Whereas to them, they try to take everything we do.
They admire us, really. Like, they
Yeah,
really
they
love us.
admire. Yeah, and I learned that from being around. Like, they really admire motherfuckers. Like, they just, and we not trying to be. Like, we just being us. And they like, man, you so fucking cool. But at the same time, it's like, they see it as so cool. And they be like, man, I want to do this shit. And the only way for them is to tear you down and then take your shit from you.
Yeah.
Like, make you question
That's
your
true.
ways. Like the same way I was saying, like, damn, why y'all always nitpicking on how I talk and stuff like that. Them the same crackers I was sitting there saying jouet when I was leaving and all that shit. Like, they was learning what the jouet was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, niggas was like, white boys
That's
on teams on,
crazy.
yeah, jouet. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Whoa.
What?
Them the same
You
people
had
that was like, damn, bro, why
Nebraska
you talk?
kids saying that?
Yeah. It's like, you know, they over here motherfuckers talking to each other. So they be like, damn, like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, you don't know about the jouet. Like, chill out. But it's like,
Dirty.
but it's the same people that's sitting there like, why you speak like that? Like, why you talk like that? I'm like, so why you trying to pick up on the shit though?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just, they got that in them. Like, and that's why I just always tell myself, I'm like, I'm gonna just stay out their way. Like, let me just, I don't even like dealing with white folks. I treat them like I treat police. White people is police to me.
Oh my god.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna just stay outside of it, bro.
I agree
What
with
you guys said
I
about
agree with
Trump again? We about to end it on this one.
Yeah, Mariah, can you unmute yourself, or do I need to unmute you? I gotta unmute you. Hello.
Talk about like
Yo. Okay. Trayvon, don't say nothing because you talk. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Go
Mariah, I'm
ahead,
gonna ask you a
say
question.
it. Go ahead.
At Michael Crop Senior High School, was it not predominantly white and white Latina or white Latin kids?
Yes, it was.
Did you feel like it was a good mix of kids at that school, or did you feel like it was a
It was
predominantly
not. I had crackers.
white school when you were
What year
attending?
she went?
Fried
Wait,
chicken
stop
every
talking, Trayvon. Didn't I say don't talk?
Okay, one quick question. What was her class?
Mm?
What was her class year?
I graduated 2011. Was that the question?
Yeah, continue. I'm still
Oh,
listening.
sorry. Okay, sorry.
Don't say sorry to him. Don't say sorry to him. Don't say sorry to him.
Bro, I think it was a good mix. I keep saying it was a good mix. I graduated 2011.
No, you just probably was in the mix. But if you wasn't in the mix at Crop, them crackers made sure you knew. I'm sorry, Barkeisha, I can't say crackers.
You can go ahead, baby. We already just said it.
Oh,
To say
my
cracker or
God,
not.
bro.
And I think I was told no.
No,
It's
you
probably
asked
because you
me
was on the
if
football team. You had to be around it.
we can curse, and I said no.
Oh, okay.
Nah, them crackers, nah. They made sure we knew. And honestly, I'm not like
Where we was.
hello. Oh, don't get me
I didn't
wrong.
feel like that.
Like I'm cultured, so like I could talk to anybody in the world. Like it don't matter where you from. Like I'm one of them black people. Like I don't box myself in when it comes to that. However, when I got to Crop, they was like, "No, you's a nigga," and you need to make sure you know you's a nigga. Like it was terrible.
Bruh,
I
they
hated
used to be like, Berkey should come here and interpret this for your people. They do.
Oh shit.
Literally,
come
we
here.
had
Let
like
them know
probably
that.
5 Mexicans in our whole school, and they all hung out together. You remember that, Barkeisha? They was all friends. They all
Hold up, I was
Yes,
friends with a Mexican kid. Hold up, I was friends with a Mexican kid though.
yeah,
Bro,
nigga,
I'm
well, you
telling you,
wasn't with
that
them every time I seen them when they was walking around the school in they little huddle.
you were
So
with
they
black
probably was
kids.
friends with you.
First of all,
But-
Mariah, I met Max in a predominantly black class.
man,
It was either
Mariah,
ninth
Mariah,
or
let me
10th
ask you a
period.
question.
I'm
You
telling
had gifted classes?
I had gifted in
course.
theater.
See, that's why she wasn't with the niggas.
No.
All the crackers was in gifted. I'm
No,
telling
that's
you,
not
dog.
why.
I'm
First of all,
telling you.
Trayvon,
Oh,
Bro,
he got a
when you
point.
see,
Keith. He got a
bro,
point.
when you, I'm telling you,
No.
He got a point.
I had normal
Oh,
classes.
listen.
No, you're not listening.
Listen.
I'm,
Yeah,
Let
I
me
had normal.
I'm-
Yeah, he's right though. I had normal
Yo, Max.
classes too.
He got a
That
point.
do
Yo,
kind of
Max.
play a role
Yo,
though.
Max.
It do kind of play a role.
Yo,
He
Max.
got a point.
Let me say something. I swear to God, if you pass by,
I didn't even think about that.
if you pass by, a gifted class, it was one black nigga I knew that had gifted class. His name was Reggie, and probably this other black girl, and the rest is straight white people in there. The
Yeah,
normal
you ain't
classes,
lying. No, that
Spanish,
is. That's so
and
true.
black.
That's true.
I'm
And that
telling
goes
you.
for any school though.
I'm telling you,
No,
the gifted
but
was straight
listen,
white people.
we were in Magnet, Trayvon. We were in Magnet, and every kid in the performing arts was black except art. Art was the only place where you would see
I'm
white
telling
people.
you,
Mariah,
don't let that
who
fool
was-
you. I'm telling you.
No,
who
I had
was-
virtual
who was in
class. I had
Magnet?
a little
Who was in
virtual
Magnet?
class.
Half of the,
It was all
That
mixed.
was in Magnet 4 years.
I'm telling you, half of the people I went to school
We
with
even had
is
2 white
from New
girls in there.
Orleans. I'm telling you, they from the freaking ghetto. I'm telling
I
you.
went.
No, but
Trayvon,
Barkeisha, he
Trayvon,
right.
you
Because think
talking
about it.
a
Because
school that we
Brittany,
went to. You can't talk
remember, no, Brittany didn't
to
have
me about
gifted
Northern
classes,
kids when
though.
we're from Northern. I
Brittany
agree.
didn't have Brittany. No, Brittany didn't have gifted classes, and she was able to meet all the hood people. You remember all that shit? She
All
was
right,
the one
was
who
you-
No,
like.
I agree.
Was
When
you-
I only
was you
met
there
I
when-
only
was-
met people outside
Listen,
of our
listen.
circle. Trayvon. I
I'm
only met
telling
people
you.
outside of my circle like Max when I wasn't in gifted. If I ain't know them already, I ain't gonna cap. I met Max because I had a 7th period class or night school, whatever. That's how I met him.
I'm telling you, dog. Like I remember, bro. Like this one kid brought a machete to school. he was from Norland because they didn't like him. It was the North Miami Jets that was there trying to jump him. I'm telling you, the school was mixed.
We were there that day. He didn't bring no motherfucking shit.
He did. I watched.
What year was that? What year was that? What year was that?
That was either probably 2000. I think it was 2010, if I believe. And he went back to Norland after that crap because they kicked him out.
When he said he was gonna call everybody from the Beans to come jump them.
I'm from the Beans. Is you talking about this fat red boy named Kevin?
Oh, I'm not talking about him.
Nah, he dark skinned, he tall, he's skinny.
Yes, and he got dreads. He didn't bring no machete. It wasn't no machete. I remember that day. I was in the hallway. Mariah was there too.
I see this machete.
Okay, let's agree.
I
see that shit.
It was a good mix of kids when I got there.
I'm telling you.
Look at the stats.
I even knew kids from
women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers.
Huh? What happened? What she said?
To disagree.
Okay. We agree to disagree, but numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboards. Check the.
You telling me, and I went to the school. That's what's making it crazy right now.
I
was making it crazy.
I didn't go to the school.
And here because no one
went to the school.
Another great episode of Free Game. I thank you much.
Look how she cutting it off.
Make sure I follow
my host just told me that we're cutting. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, breaking up.
All right, y'all boys.
Y'all broken up. We ain't even heard not one word y'all said.
Thank you. This has been another great episode of Free Game.
All right, make sure I follow y'all boy Cass.
No, Cass, no.
Thank you for having us, you guys.
No, mute, Cass.
Thank you.
Bye.
I appreciate it.
Myself, you know that, right?
Trayvon, stop eating. Stop eating.
Wait, look. Check me out.
Eating.
Free Kodak.
Stop eating.
I can unmute myself.
Free Kodak.
You know